Hello, everyone. I hope you are all doing well. I am Natalie. Welcome to my channel. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you coming back, always a pleasure to have you here. I'm going to get straight into today's video. So today's video was inspired by somebody that I was talking to the other day. And I have done videos like this before, so you can always check out my library of content. But this is really just a reminder for those of you that may have forgotten and or for those of you that don't know about this in the first place. What you dominantly think about yourself, how you dominantly feel about yourself, how you dominantly act, how you talk, the words that you speak, all of this creates a blueprint. And this blueprint within you, which can be changed, but this blueprint within you then becomes how you experience the world and how the world experiences you. And another way of saying this, what you dominantly think, feel, believe, assume to be true about you, about the world, about them, about it. The universe sees that and reflects that to you. And it says, okay, then it agrees with you because that's all it can do. The universe can only agree with what you dominantly agree with. It says, yes, you vibrate at a frequency to whatever it is that you believe. So if you believe that you're worthy of being in a loving, healthy, committed relationship, that you're worthy of being a multimillionaire, if you believe that money is amazing, that love's incredible, if you believe that you're somebody that people just love and adore and respect and value everywhere you go, the universe will say, okay, then let me show you that that's your truth. And your reality will then be reflected based on that because you'll be dominantly vibrating because we're all energetically connected to be dominantly vibrating at a frequency of vibration that matches that. So when that becomes your dominant vibration, that then matches what it is that you are dominantly speaking, feeling, thinking, assuming, believing. The same is true if it's opposite. So if you have an opposite belief of what I've just shared, you're ugly, you're unlovable, you hate yourself. Honestly, I've heard people say this. No one's ever going to like you. You can't trust. Your life sucks. Your job's shit. Nothing's ever going to change. You're worthless. You're useless. I heard someone say that recently, you guys. When you're in that vibration, you're going to match that to you. The universe will say, okay, then. It will say, okay, then. Let me show you who you are. Let me show you who you dominantly are telling yourself you are. And it's not doing it because it's cool. It's doing it because that's how it works. What you dominantly vibrate at abundantly or in lack mentality, negatively, you will attract because you're saying that this is who I am, therefore this is what I receive. So if you want to change your reality, this person that was saying to me like how much they hated themselves. I was just like, yeah, it was very sad to hear that somebody thinks that way about themselves when it's actually just the program that's still cemented within them. Obviously, I've offered them healing solutions if they want them, but you can't help people that aren't ready to be helped. So don't force it. You can't help people that aren't ready to be helped. You can be there for people, obviously, but you can't help them if they don't want the help. You can speak to people until they're blue in the face, but if they don't want to pick up that pen, you can just do the best that you can. So what I want you to think about is whatever you are desiring, you can have. You can have that. But if you are dominantly holding on to a story that is the opposite of that, That's what you're going to be attracting. So remember this. Law of attraction is knowing what you want and being okay without it. Law of assumption is becoming the version of you that already has their desire, that already has it. And so that then means you're going to have to shift from, as Neville Goddard would say, the old man telling that old story with those old beliefs to the new man that has new beliefs, that has a new story about themselves, that actually thinks that they're worthy of what it is that they want. You see, and I've spoken about this in a video, and I'll do my best to tag it because if I can remember which one it is. And I recorded it, I believe it was one when I was in Ibiza, because you see, what we're doing is, oh, I do remember it now. I rampaged because somebody was using it. Yeah, I remember it. I can tag it. So what we're doing is when we are manifesting, and we're manifesting a place of wounded, a wounded place, an unhealed place. Not that you've got to be perfect to manifest, but when you're deeply unhealed, when you're in a place of being deeply unhealed and you're manifesting, let's say, for example, you're desperate because somebody just left, or you're desperate to kind of be with somebody, or you're, for love, or you're desperate for that money, or you're desperate, it's like that negative kind of, I've got to have it or else kind of energy, whatever it is that you want. You're desperate for that promotion, you're desperate for that job, you're desperate for that pay rise, whatever it is. When you are in a place of kind of like the old man, as Neville would say, the wounded man, the one that is the opposite of the version of you that you need to be to receive the desire, and you're holding on to these beliefs and stories about yourself, what you're going to do is you're going to manifest based on that. So you'll receive based on your value about yourself. Now, I just had this thought here, like, you don't have to be a kind human being on this planet to be able to manifest. You just have to know that you are worthy beyond belief, you see. So that's why you'll see people out in the world that are not good, kind people manifest into their heart's content. But you will also see those people who are in the media getting their karma, you see. So obviously, we don't want that. What we want to do is we want to shift this vibration, these energies, these beliefs, so we could be somebody that naturally says, well, of course I can have that. I'm worthy of it. I'm worthy of having anything that I want. They'd be bloody goddamn lucky to have me. I'm a catch. I'm amazing. I light up the room everywhere I go. I'm a beautiful soul. I love myself. I'm confident. I'm radiant, magnetic. I'm intelligent, irreplaceable, unforgettable, adorable, desirable. I'm wildly attractive. I radiate a magnetism that's off the scale. I'm extremely creative. I make friends everywhere I go. People love me. People can't get enough of me. I'm literally a positive light to the world. When people walk towards me, their eyes sparkle. People can't get enough of me. I'm such a wonderful person. I love myself. I love my life. I'm full of gratitude for everything that I have and for everything that's coming to me. So if you think about the story I told about that negative person earlier, to kind of that, when you start shifting into that, that feels so good, doesn't it? That feels really, really good. So when you start shifting into that and you start telling the positive story that, that you're beautiful inside and out, you're kind, loving, thoughtful, respectful, valued, valuable, supportive, genuine, generous, loyal, trustworthy, that you have value beyond belief, that you're a valuable person to this world, you're important, inspirational, limitless, unstoppable, tenacious, successful, talented, rich, wealthy. You start telling yourself these stories. Oh, just feels so good. You see, you're raising that vibration and you're then releasing the old story. So this is all from a conscious level perspective. Conscious. You're consciously aware of what that story is. So you're shifting into this new story. So now you're in this new story. You're now, when you do this dominantly, you're going to step into the version of you that is the new man, that then can have what it is that they desire. So then you can start speaking that in. gosh, my boss has chosen me for the job because he knows that I'm the only one that's good enough for it. I'm the best person for that job. I'm the best person for, that person. I'm the best person for, you know, whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you want. You start embodying the version of you that is the best. Why wouldn't that company not want me to work for them? Why, I'm going to be an asset to them. You see how you start changing from that I'm worthless and I'm nothing and I'm thick and stupid and no one's ever going to want me. I'm never going to get the job to, they can't believe their luck that they get to work with me. They can't believe their luck that I stepped into the door and had an interview with them. They can't believe their luck that I'm going to be a part of their team. You see? That's what happens when you heal. When you let go of the old man, you become the new man. So then when you think about love or you think about money, you're naturally more in alignment to these vibrations that will draw that in, you see. Of course I'm rich. Money comes to me effortlessly. I love it. I love it. Of course I'm lovable. It's like, I've got people asking me out all over the place. I get choices. I get to choose who I want to go out with. I get to choose who I want to date. I got friends that are so kind and loving and thoughtful and respectful. They can't do enough for me. They're so kind and supportive and genuine and loving. They always go over and above for me. It's amazing. My relationships are incredible. When you start telling these positive stories, whichever area of your life it is, whether it's love, friendships, money, business, career, promotions, whatever it is, maybe about your body, you want to lose weight, whatever it is. It's like, God, isn't it amazing how I just lose weight so easily and effortlessly? I love looking after myself. I love eating healthily, because you now letting go of that story that you're not worthy of it and you're seeing that you are worthy of it. Of course you are. So what you dominantly think, feel, believe, assume about you, about people, about love, about money, about the world, the universe will say, okay, then. Because when that's dominant, that creates that dominant vibration with it. So if you want to shift it, you've got to shift the story. And this is where healing comes in. Now, what I've been talking about is from a conscious perspective. So what your thoughts are dominantly, consciously aware of. But what also happens is because we have experienced trauma as children, we've pushed down and buried beliefs. We've pushed down and buried these beliefs, these shames, these guilt, these angers, these sadness, these hurts, we've pushed it down so deep that whilst we're not actually physically aware that it's there, when we get triggered, when we get overwhelmed, when we want to fight back, when people say things to us and it hurts so much, or somebody says, oh, they don't want to go out with you anymore, that rejection is off the scale because there's wounds within you that need to be healed, or your behaviors are chasing and forcing or earning love to be seen. All of this, which feels so familiar, so ingrained that sometimes you can't see the wood for the trees. This is all deeply buried subconscious pain, or Carl Jung would call the shadow self. And this is what is still then. So you can consciously start shifting, which is going to be amazing for you. But then what we want to do is we want to go deeper, because if you then still see patterns, let's say, for example, you get the promotion and 2 months later they make you redundant, or you win the lottery and then you lose it all, or you attract the love of your life in only for them to leave you within 6 months or a year, broken hearted, in so much pain. If you're seeing inconsistencies, if there's chaos still in your life, but you're still doing the conscious healing work, then that is showing you what you're holding on to, what you're holding on to. I was still holding on to a chaotic push-pull dynamic there was a particular couple, and I couldn't work it out. I was experiencing more kindness, more love, more support. I couldn't work out what was going on. But this couple, It was horrendous for me. I felt so bullied, and so it was like a form of abuse. Like they'd pull me and be really nice, and they'd pull me in and speak to me and shout at me in restaurants and put me, oh, it was just dreadful. And the thing is, I couldn't let it go. I couldn't let it go. And I was like, why the bloody hell? And I kept trying to let it go. And I would give them space. And then, like a couple of months later, they'd come back. And I'd think, oh, maybe this time it'd be different. And I'd have a couple of times where I'd see them and it was lovely. And then boom, it would happen again. Like even the just a few days after my mum died, they convinced me to go out for dinner. And I was like, oh, I don't think I should. And they were like, come on, you deserve to come out. You don't want to be there on your own. Um, I should have listened to myself. But anyway, I went, and again, one of the male part of the couple just gets angry because of his insecurities, because of his jealousies, because of his inadequacies about not following his dream of having his own business. I mean, he's spoken to me so badly. It's just dreadful. But I mean, shouting like loudly at somebody in a restaurant, and it's just the inconsistencies, and I couldn't work out what it was. And then I realized, because my whole entire life has been full of, I need to earn people's love. I need to make them realize that I'm worthy, or they're worthy of me, or I'm worthy of them, to prove to them that I'm an amazing person. Even those that aren't even showing up, aren't even giving me the time of day, aren't even giving me a chance, I would still hold on to, like, oh, look, I'm a really good person, let me just show you, I think, it'd be great to, like, meet up or whatever, things like that. And I couldn't let it go. And I had somebody in my head like for 2 years, and I couldn't work out what it was. And it was just started to get a little bit, like, I wasn't acting on it really, but it started to get, like, just get stronger. Um, and so then when I realized, I went back to my inner child, the root of my inner child, who had a belief that no matter what, no matter how badly she was being treated, she had to fight to show people she was worthy of being treated better, that she was worthy of respect, that she was worthy of being valued and being loved and being received consistently. And even those that weren't given at the time of day, like parts of my family, I would do anything that I could, the people pleasing, giving my stuff away. Oh my God. And so then I understood the pattern. I could then nurture my inner child and break that. So those people aren't in my life anymore, and nobody will be back in my life doing that to me anymore. In fact, then somebody tried to actually start doing that kind of, I'm going to treat you like an option. And she was quite new into my life, and I just called it, no, not going here anymore. We're done. Not giving you a chance. Barely know you. We're done. Fuck off, you know? So when we are doing the conscious healing, that's great. It's brilliant, 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 brilliant. There's your conscious awareness. And you can do that by putting pen to paper. Or you can look at my self-love workshop, which is in part of the Collective Unlimited. But then when we go deeper, if we're still seeing patterns of inconsistencies, of chaos, of things coming and leaving, you don't have that stability. Everything feels unpredictable, or it's inconsistently predictable. That inconsistently unpredictable. These are patterns that your inner child is still holding on to, that needs to be released. And this is where your inner child needs the nurturing. And that is the power of the healed heart blueprint. And you can use this blueprint and go back to it whenever you see something outside of you that you don't like, because we're always healing, always learning and growing. And this is the blueprint. This is a blueprint. Like on Sunday, after things that I uncovered. And if you don't follow me on Insta, follow me on Insta. I just released a couple videos, or on TikTok, about how the game changed, how I broke free from a toxic empire. It's incredible. And this is through the work of the Healed Heart Blueprint. I am the embodiment of that. My voice is so powerful and strong now, it's off the scale. So, Yeah, the healed heart blueprint is a blueprint that you can come back to time and time and time again when anything is happening outside of you that feels chaotic, confusing, uncertain, unpredictable. What is it? Maybe you're not being chosen again. Maybe things are starting to leak. What is it that's going on? And this blueprint takes you through 7 modules to break that, to heal from it, to rise from it, to no longer allow that to control you, all through going to the root of the inner child that's holding on to that, where it came from. So check that out in the links below this video, or I do have my Be Love program as well, which gets to the deepest, most darkest, most negative belief. So it just depends on your preference, really, how you want to actually work. Some people don't like inner child work. I personally love it. I think it's the most healing, most empowering way to free yourself from what's going on out there that you no longer want to be a part of. So you can flip the story, so you can receive the consistency, the peace, the kindness, the love, the abundance, financial wealth, success, support, generosity, loyalty, calm, all of it. That's what I have in my life now. So what you dominantly think, feel, believe, assume, what these emotions are that you're holding on to will be reflected to you in your outer world. Consciously, you'll be aware of it. Subconsciously is where you want to be doing the digging deep to release it. So there you go. If whatever it is that you desire, you have to release the old man, as Neville would say, to become the new man. And when you are in that new man zone as well, you're not attached, because a byproduct of healing is detachment. Therefore, you know that you can just get on with your life, being grateful for everything you have, vibrating this beautiful, magnetic, abundant energy. When you're in that energy, you know your worth, you know your value. It's like, oh, yeah, I'd really like to have that. You can just allow yourself to feel it and daydream it and speak it in with conviction. Get on with your day, and it will naturally, naturally, naturally be magnetized to you from the place of who you are now. You will have become what you seek, vibrating at that level. So there you go. Links below this video or in my bio. And if you have any questions about my coaching solutions, you can DM me on Insta, or you can email me at natalie@asthepenniesdrop.com. Yeah, please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And as always, you guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for being here and staying to the end. And I will be back, as always, very soon.